In this video, we're going to continue our isometric tutorial by adding in a shape that has angled lines. And the reason why we do that is because these angled lines on this wedge block are not going to go through and follow our isometric grid very well. So, however, there are two lines that will. This little bottom line and this side, the vertical line, will go through and do that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and place that block down here just to give me enough room. And I'm going to mark a little corner as my starting. And usually what I like to do is I set this corner and I start it out that way. So when I measure this, the base ends up being 1 inch. So I can go ahead and count back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the height, I'm looking at about 2 3/8. So I'm probably just going to go to 2 1/4. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 inches, 9 blocks would give me a 2 1/4. So again, we're just going to approximate size and shape. So this is something I tell my students. So here's what we just did, is we drew in this bottom line and the top line, and the angled lines tend to don't follow the isometric grid. Not as nice as like cube shapes and things like that. So here's my little trick to dealing with that, is always know where you're starting and where you're ending. Then you can take some things like a straight edge, line it up, and draw in the shape. Then from here, I know that the depth of this is going to be 1 inch as well. It's actually 1 1/8, but we're going to go to 1 inch just to keep it really nice and neat on the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Draw back my depth lines, and then, again, know where I'm starting, know where I'm ending, and go ahead and connect. And that's going to give us our wedge block. So now, considering the sun placement, the only face that's going to get some shading is going to be the front. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my shading. And go from there. And that will go through and finish out our wedge block in our tutorial on dealing with any lines that don't follow an isometric grid.